In public appearances in the spring of 2017, Isabel dos Santos, then head of Angola's giant state oil company, Sonangol Group, mingled with Hollywood legends on the French Riviera. She charmed oil tycoons in Houston with tales of hard work and accomplishment. Wearing her trademark black blazer at the London Business School, she told a packed audience that leaders should be chosen on their merits. Mrs. Santos spun a story the world wanted to believe, a self-made billionaire who had risen in a male-dominated business world in an African country ravaged by civil war and poverty. "I've been managing companies for a long time, starting them from small, building them up, going through every single stage of what it takes for a company to be successful," she said. Left unmentioned in London, that she had been installed in the top job at Sonangol by her father, José Eduardo dos Santos, the longtime Angolan autocrat. Over the years he had awarded her companies public contracts, tax breaks, telecom licenses and diamond mining rights. As she spoke to the crowd of aspiring entrepreneurs, she was paving the way for one of her most brazen insider deals. Luanda leaks exposed 2 decades of unscrupulous deals that made dos Santos Africa's wealthiest woman. Based on more than 715,000 documents, Luanda Leaks offers a case study of a growing global problem. Kleptocrats and their family members are moving ill-gotten public money to offshore secrecy jurisdictions. The money is used to buy up properties, businesses and valuable assets. Dos Santos, her husband and their intermediaries built a business empire with more than 400 companies and subsidiaries in 41 countries, including at least 94 in secrecy jurisdictions like Malta, Mauritius and Hong Kong. Over the past decade, these companies got consulting jobs, loans, public works contracts and licenses worth billions of dollars from the Angolan government. Dos Santos and her husband used their archipelago of shell companies to avoid scrutiny and invest in real estate, energy and media businesses. Documents also show businesses linked to the couple steering consulting fees, loans and contracts to shell companies they control in the British Virgin Islands, the Netherlands and Malta. Isabel dos Santos, age 46, was born in an Azerbaijan oil town, Baku, where her parents met while attending a state university devoted to oil and chemistry. Her Russian mother, Tatiana Kukanova, was studying geology. Her father, the future Angolan president and Comrade Number 1, was then an exiled guerrilla leader in the popular movement for the liberation of Angola. The death of Angola's first president, Agostinho Neto, propelled the former guerrilla fighter to power in 1979. With a brutal civil war dividing Angola, José Eduardo moved swiftly to cement control, placing friends in key posts. He acquired near-dictatorial powers, including over Sonangol. The oil company would become a pillar of the regime and the Angolan economy, accounting for more than 90% of total export revenue. Oil paid for everything: roads, bridges, food imports and the military. The marriage to Kukanova didn't last. In 1978, Dos Santos fathered a son, José Filomeno. The following year, Kukanova moved with her daughter to London. Isabel spent her teens attending an elite prep school and went on to King's College London, where she received an engineering degree. Her financial managers, the leaked documents show, later referred to her as the engineer. In 1999, the president set up the Angola Selling Corporation with an exclusive license to market Angolan diamonds, another pillar of the country's economy. He gave a separate company, controlled by Isabel dos Santos and her mother, a 24.5% share in Angola Selling Corp. A year later, the Dos Santos government issued a hugely valuable mobile telecommunications license, one of the country's first, to a company called Unitel. Among its owners and founders, Isabel dos Santos. In December 2002, hundreds of guests crowded into a 17th-century Luanda cathedral to witness the wedding of Isabel, then 29, to Sindika Dokolo, age 30, a wealthy Congolese businessman and art collector. With a passion for Porsches, American professional basketball and African art, Dokolo would become a key business partner to his wife. "She is a general on the battlefield," he said. By her early 30s, dos Santos owned luxury apartments in London and Lisbon worth millions. She had a taste for things Western, art shows in Miami, Dolce & Gabbana fashions, weekends in Paris. At family gatherings, the two would sometimes pull out guitars and jam together. In a TV interview years later, she said that from her first day at school, when her father held her hand and gave her courage. Her father's connections opened doors to one of her most important business relationships, Portuguese billionaire Americo Amorim. Amorim had started in his family's cork business before expanding into energy, real estate and banks. With an oil boom creating demand for new financial institutions, they teamed up to launch Banco BICSA in 2005, the largest banks in Angola, with $4.2 billion in assets. To manage their growing empire, Isabel dos Santos and her husband set up an operational base in central Lisbon on posh Avenida de Liberdade above a Louis Vuitton flagship store. Mario Felipe Moreira Leite de Silva, an accountant formerly with the Big Four firm PwC, joined their financial management firm, Fidequity, and took charge of their finances. By the time she was 40, dos Santos had accumulated major shareholdings in media, banking, energy, and retail. She owned 25% of Unitel, the mobile phone company that had turned into a cash machine. From 2006 to 2015, it would pay out more than $5 billion in dividends to shareholders. She owned stakes in two Portuguese banks, Banco BIC and Banco BPI, a communications group called Zioan Multimedia and its affiliate, ZAP, a satellite TV service. She controlled Angola's biggest cement producer, Nova Semangala. She was preparing to launch Candando, a supermarket chain, and Sadaba, a beverage company that distributed an Angolan beer called Luandina. In the spring of 2016, dos Santos and Docolo bought a $35 million yacht, the Hayken, through a shell company in the British Virgin Islands. After its registration with an Isle of Man wealth management firm, the six-cabin, Dutch-built craft cruised the Mediterranean. The Hayken was floating near Monaco on June 2 and the news broke. The dos Santos administration had fired the Senangle board and named the president's daughter to run the state oil giant, with its annual revenue of nearly $14 billion. Africa's richest woman was now also one of its most powerful. The new administration at Senangle brought in the same advisors, Boston Consulting, PwC and Vieira de Almeida, the Lisbon law firm. Her administration tapped Sarju Racandalia, then a senior executive at PwC's office in Angola, as Senangle's chief financial officer. As her stand-in at board meetings, she relied on her top personal financial advisor, Mario Leite de Silva. 6 weeks after dos Santos took charge of Senangle, a travel agent booked Silva on a trip to Dubai, records show. The skyscraper-filled commercial hub is famous for its tax-free trade zones, financial secrecy, and lax enforcement of laws against money laundering. Her lawyer, Jorge Brito Pereira, arranged a trip to Dubai around the same time. From her seat in the VIP section, dos Santos watched as her father, José Eduardo dos Santos, walked a red carpet in Luanda's Republic Square. In September 2017, he handed over power at the inauguration of his hand-picked successor, João Lourenço. Lourenço took office with a vow to tackle corruption. The dos Santos era was rapidly coming to a close. Inside Senangle, the scramble began. Dos Santos' entire business empire was under siege. The arbitration panel at the International Chamber of Commerce ordered Unitel, which she co-owned with Senangle, PT Ventures, more than $650 million for breach of contract. Her lawyers told ICIJ at the arbitration court found the controversial loans to her shell company caused no damage. The ruling is confidential. President Lourenço cancelled her public works contracts, including the Luanda redevelopment plan. Angolan authorities said they uncovered overpayments and other irregularities such as phony invoices, non-competitive bidding and improper subcontracting. Angola's state diamond trading company severed ties to Dos Santos, and her diamond exploration licenses were revoked. The head of the state diamond company, Eugenio Pereira Bravo de Rosa, told ICIJ partners that its investment in Docolo's luxury jewelry business was a financial disaster. The company expects losses on the deal to exceed $200 million, Bravo de Rosa said. Last year, the day before Christmas, Dos Santos said, she got news from a group on WhatsApp. A court in Angola had frozen her personal bank accounts, those of her husband and her stakes in some of the country's largest companies, including phone provider Unitel. The government said the couple and Silva, the financial advisor, were suspected of causing Angola to lose more than $1 billion through business deals gone awry. According to investigators, Portuguese police intercepted $11 million that Dos Santos tried to transfer to Russia. Angolan prosecutors say they are collaborating with authorities in the US, UK, Switzerland, Brazil, Portugal, and Congo. They say the intricacy of Dos Santos' shell empire is making the job difficult. So far, they have uncovered 31 companies with links to Dos Santos outside Angola, prosecutors said. Since 1992, Dos Santos and her husband have created or invested in at least 400 companies and subsidiaries in 41 countries, an ICIJ review found. 94 of these companies are registered in secrecy jurisdictions, including Dubai, Mauritius, and the British Virgin Islands, ICIJ found. The family says it no longer feels at home in Angola. José Eduardo dos Santos lives in a heavily guarded, walled compound in an upscale neighborhood of Barcelona. Isabel has moved back to London, where her children attend school. Dos Santos says that she can't go back because she fears for her safety and that she remains committed to Angola. In interviews with British and Portuguese media outlets, she emphasized that her companies are among the country's biggest taxpayers and employ thousands. She told Bloomberg News that she worries the asset freeze could doom her companies.